What's up, everybody? Thanks again for tuning in. It's your boy Superb Kicks.
Diverse Styles.
Together, we're Feets in the Streets. We wear our pairs.
You know, as always, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. And also, we want to always remind you every video to shoot over to Instagram. Follow us at Feetznthestreetz. Know that's the only means of contact with getting in touch with us. So any questions, comments, concerns you may have, don't hesitate to send them. We'll respond in a timely manner, and we will follow back.
Most definitely. And don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop a new video.
All right, this week on this episode, we want to bring two shoes that have a little historic background, especially for us. You know, back in March, we had House of Hoops, South Lake. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
You know, and we standing in line, chopping it up. You know, the vibes clicked, and history was made. We created Feets in the Streets, and here we are today. So, you know, like I say, these shoes have a historic background for us. We want to, you know, rate them in our collection, know where they stand in yours. So don't forget to always comment at the bottom, and we're gonna get right into the review.
Most definitely. Let's start off with the Tinker Threes. And people, a word for the wise. Anytime someone's standing next to you, be courteous, be polite, speak, say hello. That's the least that you can do. It's how many people in the world, and at that particular moment, that person is standing next to you. Be polite, be courteous, speak. You never know who that person is. And with that being said, if neither one of us would have did that, we wouldn't have this channel here. We spoke to at the mall, you know, been chopping it up, exchanged numbers, speaking on shoes, everything, and came up with an idea, and we brought you guys Feets in the Street. So once again, people, be courteous, nice. You never know who that person is standing next to you. Now let's get into the shoe. Now this is a Tinker 3, Tinker Hatfield 3. Excellent shoe. Anything with Tinker name on it is going to give you nothing but immaculate quality. The leather on this is superb, no pun intended. The suede is nice. I would have preferred a nubuck. Shout out to Rejuvenator. All you got to do is spray some of that stain and water repellent on here, and you won't have no issues with this shoe at all. The red and white, you can't go wrong. You got the hints of gray in it. Around right here by the around the shoelaces, around here on the ankle support, very well put together hints. It also has the hints of gray on the Nike's wording right here on the inside of the shoe. Well put together shoe. I love it. I mean, there ain't too much I would change. Honestly, there's nothing that I would change on here, but what I mentioned, I would have preferred nubuck instead of the suede. But at the end of the day, with Rejuvenator, I don't have no worries. I'll still rock the shoe like I do. Also, it comes with the Tinker Hatfield signature, as always, on all Tinker Hatfields on the back of the tongue. Very nice touch. I like that. I like the white tongue with the red Jumpman. Overall, it's a well put together shoe, like I mentioned. It's a must cop. Obviously, you see it here on our channel, so we are rocking these. And like I mentioned, there ain't too much I would change, but I would prefer putting the gray lace in here sometime over the red. I would keep a white or a gray lace in here. I wouldn't put the red. I think the red would overwhelm the shoe too much with all the rest of the red in here. But me personally, I like the white. But if I did change the white, I would change it to the gray shoestrings that they have also. And speaking of changing, this Nike swoosh is interchangeable. It comes with a white one, comes with a gray one to match this gray. It comes with a darker charcoal gray, and it also comes with a black and gray elephant print that's normally on the front and the back on the threes. Me personally, I like the red swoosh on my shoe to accent all the rest, and with the white shoelace, it takes away from all the red at the bottom. So basically, your upper is majority white, and then your lower is majority red, and I like that concept right there. And then also, speaking on liking things, I like the Nike Air on the back. You can't go wrong with a Tinker 3. He's never going to give you a Jordan 3 with the Jumpman on the back. He's going to always have the Nike Air, and I love the 3 with the Nike Air. Pretty much any Jordan that has a Nike Air on it, I love it. I'm a fan of. But all new non-OG retros are not going to have Nike on the back unless it's a Tinker 3. So any new upcoming retros that they're putting out, anything like that that you see on a 3 is going to always have a Jumpman on it, and I can't complain about that. But it's a must cop, like I mentioned. It's in our collection. I'm in my collection, and we're giving a review on the shoe. So me personally, this shoe right here, I'm going to give this shoe a 9 in my personal opinion. I like the shoe. shoe. Everything about it. The only thing that I would change was, like I mentioned, was the suede to a nuba. But overall, the shoe is immaculate. It's a must cop for me, and I rate this shoe a 9.
All right, for me on this shoe, there's a lot of things about it I like. Being as that I'm an Air Max fan, and tinkered with the both silhouettes, with the Air Max 1 and the Jordan 3, you get that vibe. I mean, you get the Air Max 1 vibe all the way through.
100%.
There's no elephant print on the toe box or the heel guard, that you normally see on a 3, and it's not even just hindered in at all. It's just straight suede, and that's a really nice touch because it just flows with the Air Max feel. The tumble leather, I mean, it's top quality. The interchangeable swoosh, I mean, how can you complain about that? How can you not like it? Me personally, I would love to see that on more formats of all Nikes, not just Jordans. They got it on a few Air Force Ones, but the shoe itself is not near touching this. So I like to see it on maybe some Jordan 1s, of course, because I'm a fan, and I do like it on this 3 very much so. And like you mentioned, the gray is real subtle. It's put in the right places, around the shoestrings, around the ankle support, and on the heel tab. I think, me personally, I would probably keep the white laces and maybe go with a gray swoosh since it's interchangeable to give it a Air Max vibe. But then that's the beauty of this shoe is there's endless combinations. You can go with the gray laces and the white swoosh, or the red laces and the gray. I mean, you name it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all on how you feel in that day, or maybe what outfit you're wearing with them. So that right there puts this shoe above a lot of the others out there. And with the Tinker 3, the other with the gold Tinker behind it and the gold eyelet, I like that it's black on this one, but I also really like that they did not put black anywhere on the shoe. They just kept it real simple and clean, just like an Air Max 1 would be. And I mean, it gets that whole vibe. So anybody that is a fan of Air Max or Jordan 3s, you get the best of both worlds right here, and no complaint. With me, I like the suede. Like you say, with Shoe Knigger, stain and water repellent, you spray it on, you're good to go. So as little as I would wear this shoe, for me, it wouldn't matter. But for those of you that do wear this particular shoe a lot, obviously you want to put it on there to protect it. But I wouldn't wear it a lot just because it's such a dominant. The red, gives that dominant vibe. But there's nothing about the shoe that I dislike at all, so I'm definitely going to have to give it a 9 as well. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to give it a 9.5, just simply because of the interchangeable swooshes. That is a nice touch. I'd love to see it more often. And the options with the different color laces, that just puts it over the top. So this is definitely going to get a 9.5 from me out of a 10.
Okay, so on both of us, this is a must cop.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna move right along to the Phantom 1. Me obviously being a Jordan 1 fan, there's a lot of things about this shoe that I really like. The main thing I like, and something you don't see on Jordan 1s, you really don't see it on too many Nikes at all, but especially on a Jordan 1, is the outline swoosh. I can't think off the top of my head any other Jordan 1 that I've seen that on that I can recall. There may be 1 or 2 out there. But just the way the Phantom Gray and the white go together, I mean, it's real subtle. Same thing. And like I say, is it a coincidence that these were released on the same day? Probably not, especially with the colorway. So, they did a really good job of marketing this particular colorway at the time they released. These also come with multiple color laces. You got the white, you got the black, and you got the red. Me personally, I would stay with white because, like I say, I've always said white tongue, white laces. That's just personal preference. But once again, you don't really get, the leather quality is great, but it's not a tumble leather. It's more like a paper mache feel, kind of a crinkled leather. You get it on the toe box and then the side panel and along the heel. And then you obviously get your smooth tumble leather, on the toe box and all the way up the side and around the heel. What I like about it too is the red's not overpowering. You got the red stitching in the toe here and the black around the heel and, for the wings logo. And then, the red sock liner. I mean, it's put in the right places. It's not overpowering. It's not too dominant. And, for me, I would stick with the white laces over the. I've seen people rock the red laces; they look good, but I think it's just a little bit too much for my personal taste. One thing I would like to see change would maybe have been a red bottom. The all white, the sail color, tends to get dirty. But I mean, when you wear them, you can't avoid it. It just is what it is. And overall, I'm gonna have to give this shoe a 9.5. I like it. I like to see some of the hints of this shoe put on other shoes, especially with the outline swoosh and with the crinkle leather. I mean, everybody always talks about like shattered backboard quality and all that. Well, I think this is a very nice touch. It's something you don't see. It's kind of different from the tumble leather effect, and I personally like it a lot. So definitely 9.5 for these right here.
Most definitely. Looking at the shoe, the leather is immaculate. Like I mentioned on all ones, the leather is different than any other shoe. I love the leather on this. Only thing that I dislike, there's a couple of things that I dislike about the shoe, is the crinkle leather on the heel. I don't feel that should have been there. I can see on the side panel and on the toe box, but on the heel it looks worn. It makes the shoe look older. And if it would have just been here on the side panel and here on the toe box, it would have been a perfectly well put together shoe. But here towards the heel, it makes it look like a wore pair, like it's wrinkled and all that stuff, like you didn't put it in the box right or anything like that. And also, like you mentioned, I would have preferred a red sole on this to break up that white, with all the rest of the red that's on here. And along the sole here, if they went with the red stanchion, why not follow that along the bottom right here and have that there? That would have been a perfect concept to put in there. And then also, going to the shoelaces, I can see myself putting the red in here. That would be the shoelace that I would put. I wouldn't put black. The white would be good. The only reason I wouldn't put black because it's a white and red shoe. Kind of reminds you of the history of the Flight 13. So I wouldn't basically rock the black ones with the extra hints of red that they could have had. The bottom sole, the red stitching on the sole, throw the red laces in here, and then the accents of the gray. It's perfect. You can barely see it at first glance, but once you do look at the shoe, you can see the gray around there, going up here on the swoosh. I like the red around the swoosh, like you mentioned, the outline on the swoosh, the red sock liner, everything red that they have here is perfect. They should have just added a couple of more, the red bottom and the red lacing on the sole, and it would have been a perfect shoe. And then you could have just threw the red laces in here and you had a perfect shoe. Me personally, like I mentioned, I don't rock ones, but if I did rock ones, this is only reason I wouldn't get this shoe in my collection is because of the crinkly leather on the heel and the white sole. This shoe, it just looks like it's calling for dirt. Like, hey, dirt, come to me. But hey, with Rejuvenator, you don't have to worry about that. Spray some of that water and stain repellent, and you won't have no worries. But me, I just feel that this shoe personally is too white on the bottom, and it's not like a white. It's like a off-white color, sail color bottom, and that's what's going to attract it and turn yellow or even quick. So I think that they should have came with a red bottom and the red stitching along the sole. But for my personal rating on the shoe, I give the shoe a 7.5. The only reason I wouldn't give it an 8 as a must cop is because of the wrinkled leather on the back. Other than that, I would say it's an 8. It would have been in my collection if I would have rocked ones. But me personally, looking at the shoe, I couldn't get it because of the heel right here, because of the wrinkliness on there. If it was just on the side and the toe box, it would have been a no-brainer for me. Must cop with the red lace. You can't go wrong. So overall, this shoe right here, I give this shoe a 7.5. Matter of fact, I'm going to actually take that back. Just for the historic value and the nature of the shoe, this shoe is the reason why we met, everything like this. I'm going to give this shoe a whole point different and give it an 8.5, because of, if it wasn't for this shoe, we wouldn't be bringing this to you. So I'm going to go ahead with that. With that factor, I'm going to go ahead and give this shoe an 8.5. So this would be a must cop for me.
And I never thought about that aspect about you saying how it looked kind of used with the crinkle leather and all. I personally, after you hear you say that, I personally think that it gives it a vintage look. And once you get, once it starts to get a little bit of a few wears and gets a little bit of, dirty to it, I think it's going to give it a nice vintage look that you know, you won't see on many because you don't see that leather.
100%.
So I would like to see that leather on a couple other colorways and ones. Kind of gives you that vibe of the vintage look they did with the turbo greens as well. So you know, look out for those on a future episode as well. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. And
with that shoe with a red bottom right there, bro, that kills.
That's the only
that's
thing.
A killer. That's
Yeah.
a killer shoe. You can forget about that red. I mean the wrinkled, crinkled leather on the back heel. I mean, if that had a red bottom, you wouldn't even worry about that because the shoe wouldn't age as quick. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So yeah, definitely gets a 9.5. Must have in my collection. You know, as you see in hand, and you know, how can you go wrong with, like you say, red and white? So simple, so plain, so many options you can go with. How can you go wrong?
So once again, from both of us, this is a must cop.
Absolutely. You know, and as we always bring you at the end of each video, what we have on feet on that day. So, you know, today, what you got for us?
All right, I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna go with the foes. I got the Motorsport fours on. Something simple, clean, blue and white, match my outfit. I was feeling a little bluish today, you know, so I went ahead and threw the blue and white on. I ain't gonna get into full detail on the shoe because it will be on a review sometime soon on the page.
And for me, today's selection was the Blazer Mid Patches.
Killers.
You know, obviously I mentioned several times that I'm into colorful shoes. I like colorful and different and odd. So this was a definite, you know, it fits the criteria. And what I like about them too is that although the pattern is the same for the whole shoe, no matter what size, no two shoes are the same side by side. You know, the pattern is cut different and they're stitched and put together different. So, you know, although while you're gonna be the same shoe, you're never gonna have the same shoes, you know, quote unquote. So, you know, this was a must-have for me. Nice, colorful, you know, multiple options, and so that's what's on feet today.
So once again, the Motorsport fours for me.
Patches, Blazer Mid for me.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Without y'all,
There's no us.
y'all could be anywhere else, but y'all decided to be here, and we greatly appreciate that. So once again, please hit that like button, comment, let us know in the comment section what you guys like, dislike about these shoes. What would you change? What swoosh would you put on? What shoelace would you put in each one of these shoes? Let us know what you rate these shoes. Is these a must-have for you? Did they make your selection? Whatever it is, let us know. Interact with us in the comment section. We will reply back to you 100%. So don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, don't forget to hit the bell. Once again, this is Superb Kicks.
Diverse styles.
Together we're Feetznthestreetz. We wear our pairs. Thanks again. See y'all next week.